is, but when you bring a dog, pet to the classroom, children interact with the dog, and that itself gives a very calming effect. It reduces stress and anxiety for children. And I have to tell you a personal story how it all started. So years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with autism, and she was very young. I think she was about 6-7 years old. And that was like a personal hit for me. But later on, I remember when she dealt with all kinds of school issues, and I have to handle a lot of situations with the school, with the teachers. It was very hard. Autistic children, they have it pretty hard in school, and some of you might know it, might heard about it possibly. And I remember when I was thinking, there's something missing in the school system. Why do I have such a hard time talking to the teachers, trying to get the best education for my child who's thinking differently, right? Autistic children, they have a little bit different brain. The brain is wired a little bit differently. Can we figure out something in the school that can help my child a little bit better than what we already have? I remember those thoughts in my mind, and I never even thought about dog therapy at that time. Then what happened when my daughter was 10 years old, we got a dog for us, for our family, and we decided on a golden doodle standard size. And you can see my dog Carmel here pictured here, and my daughter is on the left on the screen when she got the dog when she was 10 years old. And it was just a wonderful experience. And then something happened. And it was very difficult to train my dog. My dog had a hard time walking with us because she was very strong, and we had to do something about it. We had to literally hire a trainer, and then the trainer helped us tremendously. And that led to some more trainings for my dog. And we all, as the family, participated in those trainings. And then we started all thinking, including our trainer, that maybe my dog would be an awesome therapy dog. And in order for an animal to be a therapy animal, they have to have certain disposition. They have to be able to accept being touched, being petted. They have to be able to interact with other human beings. They need to be interested in interacting with other human beings. So in terms of schools, obviously they need to like children a lot. But then we became certified, and in 2018, I started visiting local school with my dog. And that was just an incredible experience. So that was 6 years ago. And together with a wonderful teacher, and you can see her here in the middle of the screen, her name is Lucinda. I work with different teachers. I took my dog to different classrooms, depending on who, as a teacher, was willing to try something new, was willing to accept a dog in the classroom. But Lucinda is an amazing teacher. And I remember when we started in her classroom, it was just a wonderful experience. And then sometime later, when I was writing a book about this, I remember when I interviewed Lucinda and I asked her, what was like the most incredible moment when you could, as Lucinda, you could remember something extremely incredible that happened between the child maybe and my dog. I mean, every time I brought my dog, something incredible was happening. Children loved my dog, and they were saying, "I love you, Carmel. It's so awesome you came to visit me." And children were just acting differently, less anxiety, more participation, better learning. That's what really happens. And I remember when she said, something incredible happened with one boy. One boy was not talking to the teacher at all. He was just silent. I mean, he was talking at home to the parents, but never in school. In school, he never said a word. And one time my dog came with me, and a funny situation occurred between my dog and the boy. So the boy started laughing, and he said, like, the first words really he ever said in school. He said, "I love you, Carmel. So nice you came to see me." And that's when the teacher heard this child really for the first time. So imagine such an incredible moment. In schools, in many schools in the United States, we have psychologists, we have counselors, but these experts, although very needed and important, they cannot do something like this always. They cannot break the silence of the child and do something different to make this child start talking and have a little bit different experience with the school. And animals have this kind of incredible power oftentimes. You can only imagine if we had 1 or 2 or 3 children like that in school who do not talk at all, across all the schools in the United States and all over the world, how many children like that do we have who do not talk? And there are some other issues, of course, too. I'm just only talking about one. And Dr. Bedkar, if you could advance the slide, thank you. Thank you so much. So what's happened during COVID, we had to take a break from our therapy visits. You all remember what happened during COVID. And then we actually decided to do some remote therapy with my dog, which was totally different, but we did it. It was very interesting. And then we returned after COVID to school with my dog. It was an incredible experience for everybody to see us back. I saw people crying in the hallway telling me, "This is so incredible that Carmel is back to our school." Now I see that there is normalcy because dogs are allowed back, therapy dogs are allowed back to school. So Lucinda, the wonderful teacher I work with, and I thought about this, seeing how much children's literacy, writing skills were really down because of COVID situation. And we started thinking, what can we do more with Carmel, with my dog? That is more than just a dog coming to the classroom and children pet the dog. What can we do more with her to engage children with learning and maybe get a little bit different results? So I was telling children a lot about how we take care of our dog, how she goes to all kinds of trainings, and they've learned a lot about my dog. So then we asked them this question, well, what does it take to take care of the dog? And they were responding first orally, and then we asked them to write down their thoughts and also draw some pictures. So of course they drew a picture of Carmel. But an interesting thing was that many of these children were very, very weak in terms of writing skills. But here, because they were asked to write something in connection with the dog they loved as a therapy dog. And we just came there only once a week. We were not there every day at all. This is something to remember. And they were just so much eager to write. And also, right before writing, when they were asked this question, everybody raised their hand. They all wanted to share what they learned about what it takes to take care of the dog, to own a dog, right, and take care of the dog. So we've noticed so much more participation from children, not just some of them, but everybody wanted to say something. Everybody wanted to contribute because of the presence of the animal they cared about. And that animal changed the whole learning experience for them. Even when my dog was not there, they were talking to the teacher about my dog, and they were learning even more. Dr. Bedkar, next slide. Thank you so much. Thank you. Then there was a theme in school about kindness. As you can imagine, a lot of schools have this kind of theme, and children learn about how important it is to be kind, right? To each other, to others. So we decided that we can incorporate the presence of my dog into the theme of kindness. And we asked children, how does Carmel show that she's a kind dog? And again, everybody wanted to describe how Carmel shows she's a kind dog, what she does to show her kindness to all the children. And again, everybody participated. And then we asked the children, okay, you can describe how Carmel shows she's a nice dog, she's a kind dog. How can you be nice to others based on what you learned from Carmel? So all of a sudden, children were asked to apply what they've learned from my dog to how to be kind to other people. And that created more discussion about how dogs might show kindness in a little bit different way, because they are dogs, they are animals, and how people would show sometimes kindness in a different way. But again, we got participation from everybody in the classroom, and then we get everybody to write about this. And again, children who have tough time with writing, with help, they're able to do this. They're able to produce a little paragraph because they are just motivated. They're eager. They want to write about anything that has something to do with their dog they love that comes to the classroom. Thank you so much. Next slide. Thanks. Then there was another thing that we did, which is, these are all very simple things, actually, when you think about it. Children were learning about visualization. So I was reading a book to them, a book I wrote about how my dog became a therapy dog. And the teacher, Lucinda, told me, Barbara, why don't you just read your book to them, to the kids? And when you make a stop during the reading, you can read a part to them, and we will ask them to close their eyes and visualize. Visualize means to imagine that scene from the book that I read, but with their closed eyes. So that's what I did. I was reading my book, and I asked them, now, children, I'm going to read a part, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and imagine what I read to you. And when you open your eyes, then you're going to all share what you imagine, right? So I read a scene. I remember to this day when they all closed their eyes, they were so serious about it. And then I asked them, well, what did you imagine? And again, we have everybody wanting to share what they saw in their minds. They created a movie. And an interesting thing was that they imagined everything that I wrote and even more. Like, their imagination added more details. And I remember telling children, listen, you would have been incredible writers, book authors, because you can imagine even more than I put in the book. Too bad you didn't help me with the book when I was writing this. You are incredible writers. And the children were just really taking it all in. And what happened next was also very inspiring. I remember one time I came to the classroom and the teacher told me, listen, Barb, something's going on. It's very chaotic day to day. Let's just not do activities, learning activities with Carmel. Let's just do a regular visit. Everybody will pet Carmel as usually. Okay, so that's what we did. But after a while, children started telling us, but we want to do visualization with Carmel. They wanted to do learning activities with my dog. Imagine kids in school begging the teacher to do more learning. Usually it's the opposite way, right? We want a break, we want recess. But here kids wanted the literacy activity, the learning activity to continue with their dog. They loved it so much. And we had no idea it would happen, of course. We were very surprised to hear that. Next slide. Thank you so much, Dr. Bedkar. So what happened next was also very surprising. Children started getting an idea. Can we also write books? They started asking me questions. Wow, you wrote a book. This is amazing. And you wrote a book about Carmel. Can we write books about our lives too and about our paths? And the teacher and me together, we were saying to children, of course you can. You are already fabulous writers, authors. We can help you put together books about your lives, little biographies, whatever you would like to do. So that's what we did. It developed totally organically. Children, including children who were very weak with their writing skills and who sometimes never even wrote the whole sentence at all, they wanted to write books. Well, that was totally amazing. So what happened, and it was very simple, I just came every week and I did a little lesson. I told them, okay, let's create a book cover. I'll show you my book cover. Let's talk about what good book cover is about. What are the important features of book covers? Children were all telling and answering the questions, and then we engaged in creating their own book covers. And again, they were so engaged. They honestly didn't need as much help, but the help they got, they just accepted eagerly. They wanted to create their books. Then I taught them how to do author's bio and why author's bio is important. And some children, they were in second grade, so very young. They created books that have even like 6, 7 little chapters. So they were really literally little chapter books. It was an amazing project. And then we have a big display at the end of the school year. And some children in author's bio even wrote that in the future they would like to be authors, book writers, and they would like to have therapy dogs to bring to others to help them. And we never taught them this. This was some of these kids' ideas to put into author's bio. That was just amazing to see. Thank you so much. Next one. These are just some of the words from children. At the end of the project, we interviewed them. It was a study. They were saying, we get to work on stuff that other second graders don't get to do. You know how Carmel's nice to us. We need to be nice to each other. They were learning from my dog how to be nice to each other. I always wanted to write a real book about something, and you gave me the opportunity. The books, because I always wanted to write one. Then I got to write one. We get to write books and talk about books. We also get to illustrate in many different ways. When I get older, I'm going to write a couple thousand books. So this was just from an interview in which we ask children questions like what they like about Carmel's coming to the classroom. And it is interesting how they didn't only say that they liked that Carmel was coming and Carmel was a funny dog and they liked to pet Carmel, but they were also specifically talking about literacy activities, that this gave them an opportunity to write their own books. That was amazing to hear. Thank you. And the next one. I'm sorry that this doesn't look perfect. It looked good on my end. Something happened, so I'm sorry for the formatting issues here. These are just some images from all these activities. Next one, Dr. Bedcard, please. Thank you. So after writing activities, we started doing something different. We started including my dog in math. One of the simple activities we did was using my dog's dog food as little tokens to count, to do addition, to do subtraction. And children were just so excited about this. And we definitely saw that they were more engaged with math. And these were children whose math skills were very weak. They were in a group for children whose math skills were weak. but we saw how their engagement and liking math would definitely increase with my dog's participation. And the next one, please, Dr. Bedkar. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. This is another math activity with leaves, laminated leaves. They have different math facts, addition or subtraction. Then the child picks 2 or 3 leaves, shows them to my dog, and my dog picks 1 leaf. And then the child is just so happy and says, okay, Carmel picked this leaf, so I'm going to do this math addition. And then they do it themselves, or they need some teacher's help as far as figuring out addition or subtraction. And then once they got the answer, and usually with teacher's help or without, usually the answer is correct, usually. And then they try to find the circle that is the answer. So they match the fact with its answer. And then they call Carmel. Carmel, could you come over and check my answer? And Carmel comes over, usually sniffs it or sits down or wags her tail. She's got all different ways. And the child says, Carmel just wags her tail. I know I'm right. And they just like so excited because they think that my dog is like math expert, which I by now almost think that she is a math expert. We just see so much excitement from children in terms of math. They don't hate math anymore. They come excited, and we keep creating new activities for children. If you notice, there is a lot of movement with math too, with including my dog. So there is a lot of movement, there is math, there's entertainment, because it is funny with all these activities that include my dog. And also there is learning, but the learning is not boring. And again, trying to engage with math, with the subject. Children who hate it, who are weak at this, they don't want to go to this math group because they know that they are there because they're weak, right, in math. But when they know the dog is coming, they're just ready to run. And one more last slide. Thank you. If you would like to learn more about these activities and help me in spreading awareness about these ideas, I would definitely appreciate it. I wrote a book about some of these innovative activities. Here it shows on top on the left. And I'm also beginning to write some children's books too that include my dog as a therapy dog, and how my idea is behind this to spread awareness about the uniqueness of children who are neurodivergent, but not only. And I also have a website, barbaravokatis.com, and you can connect with me through the website, but also on Instagram. On Instagram, I am dr.barb.educator. That's where I share a lot of ideas, and not only about this topic. And I'm also active on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, and I welcome questions.
Good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentations, and really what Sir said, Bedkar Sir, is really very innovative idea. And I think the children are fascinated to see some animals. And if they are learning along with the animals, I think that is something very, very great. Very great. In India, we are having so many animals. The dogs are there, no doubt. I'm from my childhood. I'm having dogs with me, and even today also I spend at least 15 minutes with my dog. And I think it is a kind of a relaxation for me, because throughout the day I'm so busy. I'm a medical professional person, so I get a relaxation along with the dog. So it's a really very pleasant feeling, when I'm with my dog, and how he comes and greets and
Yeah.
sit with me, and that is a wonderful experience. And very recently, we were having some veterinary problem in our Maharashtra. That is a lumpy skin disease, and it was there with the cattle, especially buffaloes and cows and other animals. So I'm a basically homeopathic doctor. So we decided to do something innovative with the homeopathic medicine. So we started visiting various farms nearby. The near about 30 kilometers periphery, and then we started. First time it was a contact with such a big cattle, with and how to administer medicine, how to communicate with that particular animal. And mind you, initially I was little scared, but later on, it becomes so easy for me how to handle these cattle. And cattle also started, finding me, because two times, three times when I was visiting, giving follow-ups to them, I think they were knowing me, and that is how they were really responding. So it was such a great feeling, when we get such a response from the animals. Many of the times it doesn't come from the human being, the happiness and other things, but maybe they are having happiness, but they will never express, the human beings. They are little cunning, but the animals are very, very honest. And I think they are very honest in their expressions. So I think what are doing in the school children, and especially autism and ADHD children who are very much attention deficit and hyperactive children are there. I think this animal assistance, in their education will really help a lot. I was there with some this autism children and ADHD children and special children. And definitely, I think, this idea is wonderful. So we will try to introduce it about how the schools will respond. That is another story. So with this, I really appreciate. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. One question I want to ask is, that we are having so many animals with us. So why you selected dogs? The basically, I think you are one of the publication is also with the dogs and animal study and animal study. But why you are feeling only the dogs? Why not the other animals are also there? Because monkeys are also considered to be one, the wonderful animal and very intelligent. So if they are available, can we use them? Can we go with them? And another thing is, that understanding and the will of, sometimes the dogs react in a different way, and that may disturb the psychology of the children. So no doubt the trained dog has to be there. But if we are starting with something like that, and how to remove that fear and how to, make those children family with these dogs. So thank you. A very great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so incredible to hear all your input, all your comments. I appreciate it. And this is a really good question. Very good, that particular question. So in the United States, we have quite a few organizations that certify therapy animals for this kind of work. I know that there are therapy dogs also in India and other parts of the world. And I am personally connected even with people who do this kind of work in India. And I actually, these friends come from Europe. Now they live in India and they have their own certified therapy dogs. Most of the organizations certify dogs as therapy animals, but not all. There are some organizations in the United States it just depends on the organization, on their ideas and on their work, on their rules. I know at least one organization in the United States, but I think there might be more. I don't have statistics that certifies other animals. They certify guinea pigs, therapy horses, llamas, cats too, therapy cats. I think there's quite a few therapy cats. So actually, the answer to it is that it can be any. Needs to have certain features of some predictability, needs to be able to take directions. So you can imagine that like a reptile, a snake, maybe would not be a good therapy pet. The animal has to be able to be directed a little bit, and it has to have a certain demeanor. And of course, children who interact with the animal have to be able to accept this kind of interaction. So a lot of children are okay with dogs and they love dogs. Many are also good with cats. But again, like I said, there are guinea pigs that are certified as therapy pets and other animals for sure. And there is an organization in the United States, but I think they are considered international, Association of Animal Assisted Intervention Professionals. It's an organization that creates standards for this kind of field and also helps whoever would like to, would be interested in starting this kind of practice in their school district or in other area, because therapy animals don't go only to schools, they go to nursing homes, they go to hospitals, they go to many different places. But this organization has a lot of direction and resources and can help in establishing something like that for sure. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Wonderfully explained. And one question is there, what about the legislations, in USA? Because we are having some legislations, where we are doing some experiments on animals, but, there are some restrictions for us. So similarly, while using this kind of animals in the school education system, is there any kind of legislations we have to take care of?
So generally, the work of therapy animals is supervised, so to speak, by therapy organizations, and therapy organizations have a set of rules. So if you want to do this work, you have to pass an exam qualifying you and giving you the certification. So you're obligated to follow the rules, and the rules are very strict. They definitely outline how you do this kind of practice and how you make sure that the well-being of children is taken care of, and also how the animals' well-being is taken care of. We actually even recently totally trying to not use the word use, because if we say using animals in school, that implies like animals are tools, but the new standards for this kind of work are very clear that animals are not used in schools. They are included in this type of practice. So we are also very careful about the language, but definitely both well-being of people who would be involved with this kind of animal therapy and pets who would be included in this type of activity. Well-being is very guarded and taken care of by these organizations.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I really appreciate, your lecture. And definitely there is a role of animals in our life. I remember, in my childhood, I was standing in my garden and my doggy was catching my pet and pulling it. I thought, why he's doing this kind of activity? And I could see two cobras in front. And the doggy has saved my life. So his name was James, and he saved my life. So I really, I means there is a kind of attachment with the animals, and it is really wonderful to have animals in the house. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And I have to add, there are so many things children can learn from a therapy animal, because they can learn about curiosity. Like, you can only imagine how dogs are a curious animals, and children need to be curious too, because learner needs to be curious. So you can literally, I think, learn anything from animals really and apply to your own learning and become a better human being, I think. So that's why they are so incredible, because you combine children's well-being, their mental health, lowering stress, anxiety, and then combine it with even better impact on learning.
Yes, ma'am. Great. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. And one more thing I want to add in that the children, they don't have that emotional, a rigid setup of a mind. If the adult person is having a fear, scares, fright, all this negativity is there, but the children can easily communicate with this animal very easily. They can go mix with them. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Actually, I have to say that we had situations when we had kids, sometimes children who were afraid of animals, especially dogs. And through very careful interactions, they actually overcame a fear of dogs. But you have to be definitely careful. And I mean, everything that is done with parental consent. You don't start this kind of practice until parents in writing agree to this kind of interaction. But we did have situations of children overcoming the fear of dogs because of interacting with my dog. So there's so many benefits. In fact, there's so many benefits, I think, that we are just only scratching the surface of the beneficial influence of animals in educational system. I think that is just, I hope, the beginning. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we can have further conversation about this. And I mean, the topics of experiments of animals, very something that I am personally against. But yeah, that's another topic. Yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for all the wonderful comments in the chat.
Yes, Barbara did a wonderful job giving awareness to people about the animals.
Thank you so much.
Animals are the most precious, kind. I call them human being, but because I have one, all my children have, and we adore. And Dr. Shukla brought the awareness of how in India we traveled also, we saw the dogs, but it is also the finances. The reason, some of the things happen. But your talk is wonderful, bringing awareness to the
Thank
world.
you.
And I am very blessed to be part of your group. And next Friday, International Yoga Day, I will be demonstrating few of the simple yoga breathing poses to understand people that how the yoga can help you to relax. It is a commitment. It is not just a one day or one night project. So please follow your heart and do whatever the best you can, help each other to be kind, to be nice, and first of all, to be nice to yourself. And thank you to Dr. Batker. God bless you all.
Thank
you, Veena madam. And I am thankful to both.
Thank you so much, Dr. Badkar. Thank you for everything. Okay. Thank you so much to you all. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
For our taking care of our youth. Thank you.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Tina. And thank you also, my friends Maria and Byron, for joining. Thank you so much. And Valerie as well. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Badkar. Everybody enjoy the rest of the evening or the whole day, depending on the time zone you are in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.